Welcome to Aaron Plays. In this episode, we'll be continuing the scrap for Austerlitz by myself playing the French and Mark playing the coalition.
Good day.
On a continuation from last time, I did forget one last thing for Soult to do, which was what's called the end of turn die roll. Let me make that now. 3. Now, I could have done with a few of those 3s in the melees that I did, but failed to roll. But anyway, no bitching from the actual French. So we're over now to the coalition and see who they decide to activate at this point.
Thank you very much, sir. Greetings, everybody. Well, Langeron's second column managed to stave off major losses in that last turn, just with some luck. Really, can't actually claim any credit for it whatsoever. They were completely taken by surprise by Soult's boys coming out of the fog. Remember, visibility now, we're at 3 hexes, so even though we can see this gigantic battlefield with all these units spread all over it, they can only see 3 hexes away from each other, so visibility is still strictly limited. So the coalition have now got a major decision to make. Do they activate Langeron, who's just been attacked by Soult, to try and retrieve the situation there? However, Soult has activated once already, so most of the time, Aaron would not be able to activate him again. However, he may have a card that could allow him to do so. So that is a decision I've got to think about. Other options are Doktorov, who has the first column opposite Sokolnitz Castle. He lined his forces up, ready to begin the attack across the frozen stream there, but they haven't got into action yet. Or the Advanced Guard, who are in action against Telnitz. They're set up purely for really a exchange of musketry there. There won't be too much meleeing going on. So I think one last option we've got here is the unpronounceable commander of third column, which is Przepskitsev. He could
all
activate.
comments made with a pronunciation breakdown, much appreciated.
Oh goodness, yes, yeah. Przepskitsev is northwest of Praca. His column has only just become visible to the French, and he could move into counterattack Soult and form a much more solid Russian line there. So I think the safest move for the Russians is to try and activate Langeron, who has French either side of him, which could get really messy really, really quickly. So we will try and activate Langeron first. So we need, Langeron has a leadership value of 8. So we roll 2 dice and we have to get that or less. And we do, we get a 6. So Langeron is activated. First phase is offensive fire, then movement. Bearing in mind, if Langeron now fires his multiple batteries that are adjacent to all these attacking French from last turn, if he fires with those, then they can still move, but only 1 hex. But I think we can form a much better line. So he's got guns there that can fire. He's got guns there that can fire. Wargamers mutter That's what you're hearing at the minute. I do apologise. That's what my wife calls it, Wargamers Mutter. She knows when I'm playing. I'm always talking to myself. So we will begin with the offensive fire phase for Langeron's forces. We have this hex here, which I shall mark as fired. It's got that orange border to it now. We've got 2 batteries in there. And those 2 batteries are going to fire at the 10th Leger and the 14th line, which if I use the fancy...
It's all right, I can see it. It's these 2 here.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, there's not much point in just firing with that. No, both batteries will fire at the 14th line. So we'll be firing at -1.
Yep.
There's no other modifiers there, Aaron.
Nope.
That's a 6.
QFT and a step. Okay. Lead unit's got morale of 7, so it's a QFT of 7 on them. They pass and they lose a step.
Okay. Next. Artillery Regiment B, who are adjacent to those 2 batteries, are now going to fire at Soult.
Okay.
Soult in his three regiments. Now, it's not adjacent, so there's no -1 this time. It's not at range 3 or 4, so there's no negative modifiers for it being a Russian artillery battery. So it's a straight roll, I believe. Do you concur, Aaron?
I do.
Straight roll of 7.
QFT.
QFT, which Soult will probably pass with flying colours.
That's a 9. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh!
Yeah. I'm going to pause there for a moment. Right. Okay. So they've got to fall back now because they failed by 2. Right. So 1, 2. It couldn't remain in that hex because that would be overstacked and they have to retreat altogether. If they'd failed by 3, that would have been a rout.
Yeah. I think they would have had to retreat through the woods, through the frozen stream, rather than through their own forces. Is that the route that you took? Then they've gone north one hex and then northeast 1 hex.
Yeah, I suppose I could have done it that way. Yeah, because
it makes no odds, but that's how I think that's how it works. You're not allowed to break the stacking rules at any time. So that was an incredibly lucky shot for the Russians. I'm sure Soult will be back forthwith. Have they got any other offensive fire?
Doing the mutter again.
Am I? Thank you. I've got an artillery battery A and an artillery battery C. And theoretically, they could fire at the 14th line regiment, the 14th line A, but it's quite long range. And I think
I think I'm out of your line of sight because there's a slope. There's not a slope, but there's I'm on a different level there. Or is it only lines of sight blocked by slopes?
Just slopes that block the line of sight.
Right, okay.
In this one.
Well,
Excludes
C
a
is
small.
definitely out of range anyway because it can't see because it's only got 3 hex visibility.
Oh yes, C. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And A would be he'd have pluses onto his roll because of the Russian negative battery modifiers.
It's only +1.
It is a +1.
It's 4 hex range. You get the +2.
Right. Okay. I think that's enough. Yeah. Let me think about that. Well, while I'm doing that, I'll do the offensive fire from Ryazan A, who are in Kobelnitz. It is Kobelnitz, isn't it? Kobelnitz.
Yeah.
There's 3 regiments there. We find at the 75th line, and it's a regular infantry fire.
Infantry fire and artillery fire use 2 separate tables. The artillery fire table considerably more effective.
Oh yeah, have we shown the viewers those tables? I think you might have done in the very first video.
No, I didn't. So, and I don't think the tables are actually on the Vassal. So simple to say is the artillery can cause hits from 7 and below, and from 5 and below on 2 dice.
Yeah, so it's quite a significant difference.
And then once you start getting into 5s and below with the artillery, you start causing step losses.
Yeah, so what I've got to consider here is the infantry that I'm about to fire with will only be able to move. They can always move 1 hex. So even if they fire and there's +3 to leave, I believe they can still move 1 hex. Is that correct, Aaron?
It is, yeah. As long as it's terrain that they're eligible to move into.
Yeah. So Ryazan A and the regiments beneath them, they were the ones that were just pushed back not long ago. They will fire, but they're firing at a +1 because the 75th line are in the village.
Yeah.
So here we go. It's a 7 +1 is an 8, which is a miss.
Yes.
So I'll mark that hex as having fired. And thinking about movement. Any other fires here may be influenced by having to move troops, and I don't want to restrict movement too much by firing from hexes that I might need to leave. Now, we will have a shot with 10. Sorry, folks.
Play fast, have fun.
No, we won't. No, we won't. We're not going to have any more. There's going to be no more shots from the infantry or the artillery. We're now going to move on to movement. Play fast, have fun. Where did you hear that? Who made that up? That's rubbish. That's rubbish. So what we're going to do here is we are going to consolidate the Russian position a little by firstly moving 3 regiments into the center of Kobelnitz. In fact, let's move 2 regiments. And then before I move anything else, I need to get that cavalry out of the way. The artillery. So one infantry regiment moves onto the high ground there. Got to be careful with my foot batteries. I can't move my foot batteries adjacent to French units. I can leave them where they are if they're adjacent, but I can't move them adjacent. So this requires a bit of careful maneuver. What do we do? I want to get those two out of dodge. They can only move one hex. He can only move one hex. That seems like the best. This stack near Austerlitz itself can have free movement. One. However, I have to take into account the orders. Two, three. And he remains 3 hexes from the center of town, so he's okay to do that. This battery will move to there. Cavalry what to do with the cavalry? Do I get him across the bridge? Do I hit support flanks? Do I move those guns up? No, I think we bring them back. Cover the road. They still remain 3 hexes from Austerlitz, so they don't break their orders routine. Right, these 2 foot batteries that were previously under attack will fall back to join an infantry unit there. He remains in the town. There's a town under there, yeah. That final regiment will move under here. So we've got a slightly jagged Russian line now. And there's 2 more artillery batteries. And they are limited to within 3 hexes of Austerlitz. I'm just checking stacking. We've got 18 points there, plus another 8 to 26, so we can't join there. 1 battery will join the cavalry. And the other battery will sit in reserve. And now, are there any melee declarations? Yes, there are. Is it worth trying to take the southern end of Austerlitz with all these infantry? Let me see. Now, if he does that, he'll get a free shot from opportunity fire. So I'm not sure that I want to do that. Not going to do that. Right, folks, just to let you know what I was planning on there. I was planning on combining 2 stacks against the 18th line B in Austerlitz, but then recognize the fact that the 75th line adjacent would get opportunity fire against the stack that were attacking the compatriots, and that would be quite an advantage for the French. So we aren't going to do that. We're now going to concentrate on using firepower and guns to try and shift French forces out of Austerlitz, not meleeing. So that's it. So we've now moved toward the French defensive fire, Aaron.
Yep, just this unit then.
Yep.
Okay, against your attack of opportunity here, as presented by the woefully executed French attack. So I need 5 or below just to have a hope of stopping you. No. Okay. Nothing else to defensive fire with.
No, the guns aren't up yet. So we've got 20 strength points from these two Russian regiments against the 4. So that's 5-1 odds, which turns into a -5 DRM. Quality-wise, the 14th liner have a 7. The Russians have a lead unit with 8. So it's, however, we've already reached maximum odds. So it's the melee rolls at a -5, and we get a 9 as well. So -5 is 4, which is an R result.
So I'm eliminated.
Which they're gone, yeah. And we won't be advancing. And now Mark Langeroon is activated and clear the move fire.
And then the end of turn die roll.
See again? End of turn die roll, yeah. Which is a 7, which is not enough to end the turn.
No.
So we do continue.
So over to me for activation purposes. I cannot activate Soult because he was the last person I activated. So I'm going to now try for Davout, who's on a 10. So Davout activates. Now, when Davout activates, now it's 8 AM, he can bring in some reinforcements. Okay, we bring that set up here. As denoted by this chart. Okay, so I have to make a die roll to see which one of those groups come on the actual board, or I make a sequence of die rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I work my way down the groups. Now, so starting with the 8 AM turn, each time Davout is activated, roll a die roll for each group, starting with group 1 or the group with the next lowest number. Group 1's already been entered. The die roll is equal to or less than 5 for any group. That group may enter play immediately. No more than one group can enter play during the same activation. So I start at group 1 and roll a 5, but there is a +1 DRM on the 8 AM turn. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for 4 or below for group 1. If I fail that, then I try for group 2, 3, and so on. So group 1, 4 and below, no. Group 2, no. Group 3, yes. So group 3 enter the board.
Dragoons.
Some dragoons, yes. And I've just lost the reinforcement chart. Right.
15th, 27th, 17th, and the 18th.
Yeah, but it's disappeared off my screen, so I'm now looking for where's the reinforcement chart's gone. All right, I'm pausing it. All right. Here's the 3 regiments. Okay, now where can they enter from?
Let's have a look.
Enter from any road hex of the northwest edge north of the goalback. So they enter from here.
Okay. So what have we got? 3 regiments of dragoons.
3 regiments
Yeah.
of dragoons, yeah.
Good quality.
Well, they can't cross the river under the same restrictions that you can't. So they're a good reserve at the present moment. I would like to have some artillery, but we haven't got that now. Davout's leadership. Davout was a special order ability. During any turn phase, even if no orders can be changed for any side, the French player can change Davout's orders for free without counting this order change against the French order change allowance for the turn.
Ooh, he's a clever bugger, isn't he?
He was Duke of Auerstadt. So I am removing the defense orders that they were playing under.
Right.
Okay. Bring up the orders chart, order menu. So don't know, nobody else can change orders in this. Davout can. And there he goes. Okay.
So the viewers might be able to see what you've assigned, but I cannot. Actually,
Well,
I will be able to.
because you're within 3 hexes of me. So he's basically
I will.
He's saying, hold on to Telnitz, boys. It's very important. Okay, so defensive fire phase. Sorry, offensive fire phase.
Yeah.
I'm going to fire with this battery here onto this stack of infantry here. So it's a -1 shot due to the size of the battery. It's only 3 steps.
+1. Yeah.
Sorry, +1. No effect. And then this battery will fire onto these guys here.
Does he have line of sight? Good question.
Does he have line of sight? Because the units
The
block
8th stars would block it, and the woods would block the other hex side.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Okay, yeah, I'll all right, so hold on. These infantry
Yep.
will fire. So they need a 5 or less.
Yeah.
Any other fire? No. Movement phase. Now, can we actually charge across the bridge with the cavalry?
I believe you can. They just can't. They just can't charge across the stream.
Oh, charge across the stream.
There's going to be a right old ding dong.
Well, as I'll only be able to attack from one hex, and you have got 11 points of cavalry there already. There's no advantage of heavy versus light cavalry in this system, is there?
Just the quality.
Well, my qualities are the same as well. Yours are 7s, mine's are 8s, so I'd have a little edge on the quality.
Mm.
You're starting adjacent to my cavalry, so you'll be classed as fatigued. True? Not true.
I'm trying to work this out. If you're thinking of charging with the dragoons that just come on,
Correct.
you have to expand half your movement allowance though to do a prepared charge, so you wouldn't have a movement points.
Wouldn't I? Because I thought it rounded down.
Sorry?
I thought it rounded down for the prep charge. Cavalry prep charge. Lead unit spends 50% of its movement allowance rounded down this turn.
Oh, do you want to do a pause? Just so the
Okay.
viewers are.
All right, so I'm going to charge with these units in this hex here. Now, the actual odd, you've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points worth of cavalry there.
Yeah, it's like 1,100 cavalry, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm going to charge with just the top 2 units from this stack here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll join them. And they get a charge prep bonus because they spent 3 movement points prepping for the charge, and then the other 4 coming in for the charge.
Yes.
The way that works, the cavalry prep, is you've got to spend half your movement points rounded down. So there's 7 halved, 3.5 rounded down, 3 movement points prepping the charge.
You just had enough, didn't you?
Just had enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so where's the pieces menu? Let's get right markers. Cavalry prep. That stops them suffering a -2. Now, because your cavalry were adjacent to a unit at the start of my movement phase, they'll be at their class as fatigue because they've been effectively skirmishing with my guys across this bridge for the last half an hour.
And you've brought fresh reserves on to have a pop. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will also bring the 8th Hussards into this as well. And they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 into there. 15th and 27th Dragoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A horse battery. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm actually going to put Davout in command of that charge.
Oh, bloody hell.
2. Do I want to move anybody else? How much have you actually got here? 11 plus 4 is 15 plus 12. 27. I move it only 8, that would be 3 to 1. I'm going to move one of the infantry to support that attack.
Oh,
Um, one, 2, 3, 4. Now, interesting question. Do zones of control extend across this river? I know they don't extend into the town, but a
they
zone.
don't for cavalry, but they do for infantry.
Okay. So when I enter a zone of control, am I forced to stop? This is one of the things we
Yes.
have in the
Yeah, you're forced to
VLU.
stop unless you can move your whole movement, moving hex to hex.
Yeah.
Moving within a zoc.
Okay. All right. That's.
So it's looking threatening here across the stream. French are on the counter attack already.
All right. So that ends my move. So declarations.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a card. I'm going to play a card called Friendly Fire that you play at the end of your opponent's movement phase.
On or
before 10 a.m. On or before 10 a.m.
Which we are. Play at the end of any move, so on or before 10 a.m. So effectively it'll run out after that. All right. Select an enemy stack that is currently activated and adjacent to a hex containing a combat unit of its side, which is itself within 3 hexes of a unit from the other side. The lead unit of the chosen enemy stack loses 1 step and must pass a QFT 1.
Yeah.
So it's representing the problem of firing in the fog, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, well, I told my boys not to fire. So, oops. So we knew that. Oh, blimey. Hold on.
Don't worry.
I'm going to put a melee marker and not fire. Myself in a rotate is. Right. Okay, so where are you placing that then? Where are you wanting that to happen?
I'm wanting that to happen on the third line B.
Okay.
The infantry that
So
is
that
next
enemy
to
stack that is currently activated. Yep.
Mm.
Adjacent to a hex containing a combat unit of its side, which is itself within 3 hexes of a unit from the other side. The lead unit stack loses 1 step, so then my infantry loses a step and must pass T1. Right, so the QFT is a 7. They rolled an 8. QFT1 makes that a 9, so they've got to fall back a hex.
Yeah.
With a step loss. All right, so reduced. They fall back into here. And that card now goes into the card box, and I will have it available for me next turn. We'll place it in there. Well played.
Not sure if it'll make any difference. I was looking at cards and then I thought you've got to use it before
I had 8 infantry helping that charge across the stream. So,
yeah. So your melee declaration phase is now done. I'll just
now your defensive fire.
Yes.
So should I play a card?
Oh, have you got one?
I have got one. Yes. Go on. Let's make this really exciting. We're going to play Smoke of War.
Okay. I'll play this card at the end of the melee declaration segment. That's just now. All defensive or opportunity fire get a +1 DRM until the end of the current activation phase. So while Davout is activated, all defensive or opportunity fires. Well, there's only one, isn't there? So it's this battery. So you're trying to protect your cavalry from the battery defensive fire. Yeah? So it negates his adjacency bonus. He'll get a +1 for being a small battery. He's only got 3 steps. So that's classed as a kind of maybe 4 guns. He gets +1 for that. He gets -1 for being adjacent and +1 for smoke of war. So it's a net of +1 on the artillery defensive fire roll. Concur?
Yep.
Yep. Here's the roll. It's a 4.
Every time.
Converts into a 5. It's a QFT +1 step. But you've got a good leader there.
Okay. So QFT. Right. So the morale of the lead unit is 8. Davout takes it up to 10.
Yeah.
So they pass
with ease. So it's just 1 step on the lead unit.
Okay. Just transfer the lead unit. Okay, and I'll put that in the box.
I've got to try and remember to divvy those cards out next time.
All right, okay.
It's all go. It's all go, everybody.
The melee phase itself.
Yes.
Right.
That's it. Get involved. That's it. 13 steps of dragoons and chasseurs and hussars come terracing across the
bridge into 7.
Bravely through the teeth of the guns. Barrel through. So it's
the odds are 1 to 1.
It's 1 to 1, but you get all sorts of bonuses for everything else. Let's count them up.
Okay, so the quality wise, I've got an 8 leading unit. Davout takes them up to 10.
Yeah.
Against yours, which is 7. So that's -3 in my favor.
Yep.
My cavalry prep cancels out. Normally you get a +2 if you're not, you don't prep. Well, I don't suffer that. But I get another -2 DRM because you're fatigued, taking me to -5.
You're at the best possible odds for this attack across the bridge. Good luck, sir.
8 becomes a 3. That's a bit more like it. That's a QFT 1 plus R.
So the R result means
You do
every
one first.
We'll do the QFT one first, but the R result means everyone's reduced. So it's a good result for the start.
It is a good
now,
result.
my quality is 7, but it's a QFT 1, so it's 6. I've got to roll 6 or less here, and I get an 8. So I've failed the QFT, but not to the point of being a rout.
No.
However, it's going to have adverse effects on the horse artillery, and I'll explain why. Because what has to happen here is these guys now have to withdraw a hex. They also have to each lose 1 step because of that R result. And I believe a horse artillery having to withdraw. Oh, we just quickly check. I believe suffers an extra step. And if you want to pause, Aaron.
I think it's a rules check. Yep.
Yep. The rules check is complete. And everyone has to, every unit there has to lose 1 step and also withdraw.
If he had routed, the artillery would have had to take the extra step loss, which
yes,
hasn't happened.
So what we'll do is we reduce that first unit, reduce the second unit, and reduce the horse artillery, who's now considerably weakened. And that was a highly successful.
Now, when it comes to advancing after combat, cavalry must advance all cavalry units that participated in the attack up to the stacking limit. Okay, so they've all got to go in. To that.
Or do I retreat 1 or 2 hexes?
Retreats always
1,
isn't it?
1, yeah.
Okay.
It is 1.
At which point, the advance.
I think you have to make a roll, don't you, for to see if you exploit or not.
Okay, when a cavalry unit or stack advances after combat, the lead unit makes a die roll. This die roll may be modified by an active leader in the hex. The result is compared to the cavalry's pursuit factor, which depends on its nationality. If successful, if the result is lower or equal to the pursuit factor. If successful, the active player may choose to perform a pursuit combat. If failed, the stack must perform a pursuit combat. Okay, so there.
For the French, it's 8.
For the French, it's we're at 1805.
1805. Yeah.
And Soult modifies it by 2.
Yeah.
So they are perfectly under control. It's up to me now if I wish to engage further. All right. So if I do engage, I could engage either one of these 2 stacks. However, I no longer get the prepared bonus. So I'm +2 to start with. So I delete that. However, if I engage these guys, they're not fatigued, where these guys are still fatigued. But they've gone into a nice orchard. Is that an orchard or vineyard, isn't it? Vineyard. Cavalry attack into versus infantry is at +3. Cavalry attack into versus cavalry or artillery is at +2. Okay. So is it worth, or what's these guys like? 6, and that's 11 cavalry. I know I've got 13. So I'd be at +2 if I charge into these guys. If I charge into these guys, I'm at +2, but -2, but another +2 because of the terrain. So do I want to hurt these or finish off these? There's no more defensive fire, is there? So 8 morale versus 7, so 8. No, so it'll be +3 for the morale. Sorry, keep saying pluses. -3 for the morale here, and straight odds, but I'll get a +2 because I'm not prepared. Against these guys, I'll get plus lots because of the morales and the fatigue. Yeah, I'm gonna pursue into these guys.
Okay.
Right. So the attack will be 13 still. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 versus 4, 5, 6. The artillery don't count. So it's 2 to 1. So that's -2. Plus another -2 because you're fatigued. So it's -4. And the morale differential is 3. It's actually 5. It's -9. I know the maximum is -5, but -9. Against me is unprepared. That's down 2. So it takes me to -7. And into the vineyard is another +2. So it takes you back to -5.
And there's a slope.
Now, is that a slope?
It's just a regular slope. It's not a steep slope.
It is a slope, yeah. So it's -4. Can you think of anything else? So I've got odds of 13 to 6. That's 2 to 1, -2. Then the quality of 5. So 3 for the cavalry and 2 for Davout, taking it to my morale's 10 to your 5. So that's
Davout's making all the difference, isn't he?
-7. Fatigue, -9. Then unprepared 2, orchards 2, and the slope. In other words, that's 5. Yeah, -4.
Yeah, the only thing that I would have mentioned is that there is an ability for the hussars there to countercharge, but I wouldn't have anyway because the quality difference is just too big.
Bring it on.
Yeah, that's why I'm not.
No, please do. It could be entertaining. Think of all the people watching.
Wait, no, the hussars are watching.
All the people watching thinking, go on, countercharge, go for it, go for it. No? Okay.
No, we decline. No, with Davout leading them.
All right. So -4.
Yes, sir.
8 becomes a 4.
That's an R, isn't it?
R. They're all reduced, so they're all gone.
They're gone. You wiped them out. Well, you've weeped your Rwengi. So let me just click eliminate it.
What language are you speaking, sir?
Oh, yeah, I've got a speech impediment. You can't be saying things like that and picking on me. You weeped your Rwengi. Well done. Good attack. I didn't think you would come across that bridge at all. Not with the guns sat there.
I took the risk because it was a small battery.
Yeah.
I was looking at Smoke of War,
Yeah.
and I was going to use that actually with Soult's attack when I first went up there, and I forgot.
Right. Yeah, it's frustrating. That's one of the reasons
I did a mark maneuver, and I remembered my cards when you actually played your card.
Yeah.
So that's what the card. When I was looking at it, I thought one will be good when Soult comes in against your artillery, blah blah, and forgot all about it. And then you blew my initial attack away there. I was like, and then I forgot.
Well, it swings and roundabouts. I'm pleased in a way for you because it's easy to lose heart, isn't it, when a big attack goes wrong? So it's been swings and roundabouts for us both, which is fair. It's good. It's balanced. Then the narrative is fantastic. I love the idea of all the French cavalry terracing across the bridge. Pardon my French.
Against the guns and a supported cavalry.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And so it's just your end of activation homework now.
Yeah. So and the infantry being thrown back by friendly fire. Right.
Yes, that's another thing. Yeah.
Right, so I will end all that. Activate everybody, so remove all the moves and all the fires, and then do my end of turn die roll. Nope, no end of turn die rolls. Right.
Nope.
Okay.
Just need to activate Davout.
Evening now.
Yeah, had a good time. It's been great.
It has been great. It's been
I hope everyone's enjoyed watching it as much as we have playing it, except for our rules references, but we do try to keep those to an absolute minimum and to cut you out of the loop on that where possible, so that you're not sat watching nothing.
Apart from 2 people sitting there with their noses in a rule book.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes because we're playing two separate systems.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I mean, I was saying to Aaron off camera earlier, the big French attack that came in on my flank up at Kobolnitz, I'd placed batteries on high ground there, ready to defend against the French coming across into the flank, because that's how the previous system worked, the Vive l'Empereur system. Once you had batteries in position, if someone wants to cross open ground to come and attack them, they're going to take at least 2 opportunity fire shots and defensive fire, and it's so you just don't do it. You just don't approach batteries in the same way that you can in this game. So it's adjusting your mindset between one system to another, which can take some time.
What I'm proposing here, and I'm talking on camera here, is at some point me and you need to sit down and just do a video where we discuss the highs and the lows of each system, because they're both meant to be at the same scale. So why would one system represent that if you're crossing open ground towards a battery?
Yeah, we should flesh that out.
Losses coming in, whereas this one represents it where you take more losses when you're actually adjacent.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of other things we could probably do a whole video discussing the ups and downs of the system. And actually, just thinking that on the spur of the moment, why not? Let's do that at some point. Do a, marking out of 5 or marking out of 10 on each system on various points. Representation of infantry, cavalry combat.
Yeah, it'd be a great reference for someone who wants to compare both systems, or who's thinking of jumping into to one of them but can't decide which one.
Yeah. Well,
before
there is one answer to that. Do both.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, I do like both systems. It is nice to see lines, columns, and such forth. But I really do like the activation system on this.
Yeah.
And I think the rules are considerably tighter in this version. VALL. We've been able to solve all our rules questions really within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Where VLE, sorry, Vive l'Empereur, we could be discussing for half an hour about rules and still not be totally clear on the point. But that's the nature of the beast. So anyway, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, everyone.
Saying goodbye to you totally. Yeah, I'll talk to you off camera, but I'm going to say goodbye to the video. So yeah, it's been lovely playing with you as per always. Yeah, as you said, swings and roundabouts for both sides, and be interested to see who you activate next. So, so for all you guys out there, if you've enjoyed what you've been watching, please click the like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Any comments, as always, much appreciated. Anything you can point out that we've made mistakes with rules-wise or tactical skill-wise, anything is all appreciated. Great discussion. So till next time, bye.